Welcome back to Porfiro, a radio show brought to you by WMHD.
This morning, you, tired of instant potato starch porridge and desperate for variety, tried eating the potato starch dry. Turns out there was a reason the box says not to do that. You breathed some in by accident on your first spoonful. The resultant coughing fit nearly blew your teeth apart. You leave for work with your eyes still streaming. At office hours today, Antigone helps a girl who's not one of her students. This isn't unusual. You've noticed that Antigone often gets other people's students at her office hours. She prods you in the back. You look up from your grating to glare at her.
Porfiro, I'd like you to meet Viridian. She's a student in introductory chemistry, and she wondered why you look so sad.
This Viridian looks a lot less impressive than Viridian the magician. She can't be much older than you, and she looks immensely stressed out.
I'm grading.
Viridian sits next to Antigone and starts asking lots of questions. Antigone does her best to answer, but the sheer volume is pretty overwhelming. You start noticing the questions, well, not repeat, but it's clear that Viridian isn't absorbing a lot of what Antigone is saying. She takes up more and more of your space with her notes as time goes on, and you order yourself not to shove them to the floor. Antigone eventually sends her off with an awkward attempt to cheer her up. She does not end up very cheered up.
What was her problem?
Don't say it like that. It's not her fault. She studies hard enough.
Hard enough for what?
Antigone sighs. Her head droops and she runs her hands through her hair, sending her bangs splaying everywhere.
I almost feel bad helping her. She's Morrison's student, not mine, and I frankly don't think he's up to the task of getting her through his class, and she's so worried. Maybe she needs to give up for her own sake. I just keep hoping she'll make a breakthrough or something, but we're not all cut out to do what we want to do.
I don't think that's true.
Antigone scoffs and rolls her eyes.
What?
You're so naive.
You're so jaded.
No, I'm not. I'm being realistic. I speak from experience, you know.
What experience? You're doing what you want to do.
She raises her eyebrows.
I'm doing what I want to do now. When I was your age, I didn't want to touch chemistry.
What did you want to do then?
I don't know if you'll believe me. When I was your age, I wanted to be a magician.
You stare at her. A long time seems to pass.
Is that why you hired me?
Of course not. I hired you because you applied for the job.
You gave me the application.
I admit I wanted to help you out.
Carmen's home before Martin today. She lets you in and you sit with her on the couch, the dishes climbing all over you. You've been telling her about your day for some minutes when Martin comes in, red-faced and looking poorly.
Nobody fucking talk to me.
And he storms into the computer room. Carmen gets up.
I'd better check up on him. Come with me?
I thought he said not to talk to him.
Yeah, well, sometimes nobody talk to me means talk to me. He's quite fond of you. It'll do him good to see you.
You feel a thrill of happiness at the praise. You cover the dopey smile you feel creeping up on your face with your good Catholic smile.
Okay.
You follow Carmen into the computer room. Martin's bent over the keyboard with his back to you.
Martin?
One sec.
He types a little more and hits the enter key with tremendous force. Then he turns in his chair and raises his arms like a little kid asking to be carried. Carmen steps forward. They embrace over the armrest.
What's wrong?
Something broke today, of course. I've started the process that'll tell us whether we can fix it, but we can't fix it.
He curses viciously and stands, somehow keeping one arm around Carmen in the process. He pats your shoulder with the other.
Sorry to be this way in front of you, kid. It's going to be a lot of work to make do with our latest handicap. I'm not looking forward to it. Sorry to be this way in front of you, kid. It's going to be a lot of work to make do with our latest handicap. I'm not looking forward to it. And now I have to babysit the computer. I've been meaning to automate this, but that's such a depressing task that I keep putting it off. So, babysitting.
I can do it.
No. Sweetheart, you shouldn't have to suffer from my procrastination.
I'll get dinner then.
Thank you.
He hugs her again and buries his face in her hair.
Martin, can I help with the computer?
You catch a dark look on his face for a second before he puts on a bland expression.
Sorry, Porfiro, but I'll be saying some truly vulgar stuff in here tonight. It'll be offensive. I'd rather you go.
Was Martin never a teenager? You'd love to hear some truly vulgar stuff.
But...
Just go.
You phone Jonny and immediately get into a debate about which superhero is the strongest. Jonny champions some girl with super strength. You've never heard of her. She's from a new series that he hasn't lent you yet. You go with your old standby, a version of the Yellow Emperor with laser eyes and a cape 20 feet long. You recognize that your position is a little risky. After all, the series that you haven't read could be about anything. But you're confident of this. Nobody could come up with something better than your old favorite. When the night gets so old that it's turning into morning, you realize that Jonny might actually win the debate. This new girl jumped down from the city to the bottom of the sea and back again, all while carrying a 20-ton computer with one hand. You're not sure if you can top that. You let him get distracted. He starts rambling.
And the teacher was all like, "No, Jonny, you can't do a fun project for the science fair, because science fairs are stupid, ugly, educational, blah, blah, blah." And I wanted to tell her that science fairs never taught anyone anything, but that's rude. So I was like, "Please let me make moonshine for the science fair. I can make it out of that disgusting potato goop, and I can learn what that yeast stuff is." And everybody thought it was funny. Even the teacher laughed a little. And after that, I kind of went and I...
Jonny?
Oh, right. Hey, Porfiro, can I come over tomorrow?
Yeah, sure.
You feel yourself smile. You've wanted to ask Jonny over ever since you got yourself a dorm room, but you've been shy about it.
Cool. And I want to meet Martin. Put a name on a face, you know?
You mean a face to a name?
Oh, whatever.
You promise to introduce him to Martin. Then he remembers the debate that you're losing. No. After a lot of doing, you manage to divert the conversation to your classmates. But none of them have done anything gossip-worthy lately. You and Jonny both get sleepy and bid each other goodnight. You wait for Jonny in the rock garden and squint into the cloud. It is such an unattractive color. Frankly, it's always suggested some sort of bodily fluid to you, but you've never decided which one.
Porfiro?
You jump with excitement. There he is! Just visible through the cloud.
Jonny!
You go over to him as fast as you dare in the low visibility. He hugs you tightly, and you hug back like you're trying to squish him. Then you pull away and study him.
I missed you so much. How are you?
I'm good. I missed you so much too. You look exactly the same.
Well, you look super different. How do you stand having your hair so long? Doesn't it get in your eyes?
Yeah, it's horrible. But I'm chicken to cut it myself.
I'm not.
Because you don't have to live with the results if you mess up.
Aw, come on. It's almost long enough for me to give you a mullet.
Jonny, no.
But all the rock stars have mullets. You totally...
He's looking over his shoulder. Oh, good. You can derail the conversation while he's distracted.
What are you looking at?
I think those guys are smoking the sludge, right?
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
I dare you to try it. Have you already tried it?
Of course not, Jonny.
You start walking inside with him. The air filters whir loudly, and conversation is impossible for a minute. Then he's pulling off his backpack as he walks and smiling big.
Hey, I got us something.
He produces a big pink box. Ooh, candy. The packaging features a cartoon of Oliestro chopping a slab of the stuff with a giant sword. His hair billows dramatically. It would totally get stuck to the candy in real life.
Teresa's recommendation. She says people have killed for this stuff.
He hands you one and you stuff it in your mouth. Yeah, it's fucking delicious.
Would you kill for it?
You smack your lips and pull another one out of the box.
I guess not. Hard decision, though. Maybe some people I would.
You knock at Martin's door and get a sudden thrill of nerves. Fuck, what if he doesn't like Jonny? What if Jonny doesn't like him? Oh, they're totally going to hate each other. You know it. Martin answers the door in his big sleeved robe. He extends a hand to Jonny, and the stars on his sleeve glint.
Hello, you're Jonny, aren't you?
Yeah. You're Martin?
He nods and they shake. Oh, good. They don't hate each other yet.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Porfiro talks about you a lot.
Some of the dishes push past Martin and run at Jonny. Ah, no! Jonny will definitely hate the dishes. No. Wait. Things are okay. Jonny is grinning and bending down to play with them. Is that how you looked when you first saw them? So big-eyed and goofy? No, you always look super dignified. You watch him play with them for a while, then you all go inside. Jonny looks at Martin with undisguised amazement.
Your dishes are awesome. It's so cool that they... What? Hey, wait a minute. Where do you get clothes like that?
Ah, trust Jonny to get distracted in the middle of his own sentence. But come to think of it, it is a good question. There's no way the recycling plant pumps out wizard robes along with the t-shirts and jeans it produces.
Oh, I'm not exactly sure how you do it now. I got mine ages ago. Good incentive not to gain too much weight, but I guess you have to buy material directly from the recycling plant and sew it yourself?
They sell material with mountains on it?
Mountains? I thought those were stars.
You gesture at his sleeves, which are decorated with gold 5-pointed knots.
Oh, they are. The mountains are on the back. They're kind of subtle.
He turns around and spreads his arms. Fuck, this must have been expensive. You see that his sleeves are the sky of a landscape that's been embroidered all the way around him in shades of gray and blue. The stitches are tiny. You make out stylized trees and hills, and a strange blue sun disappearing behind a black mountain range.
The mountains didn't come on it, though. I had to do all the embroidery myself by hand. Stabbed my fingers so much I thought I'd die of blood loss.
Really? Cool. My favorite superhero died of blood loss.
Martin doesn't seem to know what to do with that. Oh, shit. This is how they start hating each other, isn't it?
I wouldn't presume to call myself a hero, but it certainly felt like a heroic effort.
He smiles and admires his own sleeves. Please like Jonny. Please like him even though he's so weird.
So, why'd you do it?
Tradition. Every magician makes a ceremonial robe that reflects their own taste. It's supposed to teach patience. Of course, mine used to be much simpler than this because these things are just so damn hard to make. And I like to think that I'm a man of simple tastes, but when my father saw it,
He sighs and takes his hat off. You're amused to see that he's a bit bald underneath it. Please like Jonny a lot.
He persuaded me that my taste was more sophisticated than I knew, and so I produced the masterpiece you see before you.
Your dad's a magician?
Was. He died during the famine, and yep, this hat belonged to him. Maybe someday I'll bequeath it to you, kid, if you're any good.
Ah, you recognize Martin's distraction tactic. You decide against expressing your sympathies.
Does Porfiro have to make himself an outfit too?
Yeah, eventually, when he's ready.
There's some silence as Jonny plays with the dishes. Then Carmen comes through the door. She gasps a little bit when she sees Jonny, then puts on a big smile.
Ah, you're Jonathan Vidalius' son, aren't you? Your name is also Jonathan.
Martin's eyes get super big and he mouths something to Carmen. Oh fuck, this is how he actually starts hating Jonny, isn't it? Johnny's family has the reputation. Well, fucking shit.
Yes, ma'am.
It's wonderful to see you, dear. To what do I owe the pleasure?
I'm visiting Porfiro.
Oh,
She smiles more warmly.
you must be his school friend. He says such wonderful things about you.
Really? Cool. He never says anything nice about me to my face. Also, have I met you before, ma'am?
You can call me Carmen. I think I was seated near your family at the Easter banquet last year.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember. But Martin wasn't there. I feel like I would remember the wizard robes.
I wasn't allowed to wear anything fun. Apparently my normal clothes were too formal or something, but when we got there, lots of people were wearing suits. I'd have complained, but Carmen said it meant something. Anyway, I was there. I was bored.
Yeah, we showed up and like half the people were dressed nice. Seems like people got different messages about the dress code. I'm sure that wasn't intentional.
Oh good, they somehow seem to still not hate each other. But what's this? Carmen has come over to Jonny and they're talking. And talking. And now they're walking away. Hey, wait. What? Ugh. Help, did she just steal your friend? Yes, she did. And left you alone with Martin. Probably forever.
What do you say we put dinner on, kid?
You nod reluctantly and go cook with him.
Johnny, I want seconds. You want seconds?
Sure. Get me the blue flavor. With gummy bears.
Jonny hands you a wad of cash and you go up to the sherbet counter for another round. You hand Jonny his.
So, what did you talk to Carmen about?
Tons of things. She's amazing. This stuff would be better with potato chips in it. The spicy kind. Do you know where to get potato chips around here?
Ew.
No. What things?
Well, Teresa, a lot. And school. And she told me a little bit about her work. Frankly, it sounds terrible. I can't believe you want to be a magician.
You told her about Teresa?
His hand freezes, halfway to bringing a spoonful to his mouth.
I mean, I wasn't gonna. But we were talking for a while, and it seemed, I don't know, okay to tell her?
There's some silence as you both eat sherbet. Johnny's giving his a dissatisfied look. Maybe thinking about how much better it would taste if it had potato chips in it.
What'd she have to say?
Mostly that it was just a bad situation. You know, you're really lucky, Porfiro.
Why? I mean, I know I am, but why say that now?
You're just really lucky that your people, like, give a shit. Most people don't, you know?
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Porfiro. Porfiro is written and directed by Joy Stockwell Carpenter, edited by Nicholas Carpenter. Our beta readers are Rhea Carlson and Alyssa Russell. Audio post-production by Ethan Townsend. Narration by Natalie Beatty. This episode featured Riley Villier as Martin, Eli Fritz as Porfiro, Anastasia Zellner as Antigone, Alyssa Russell as Carmen, and Brandon Tarnoff as Jonny.